Boker Tov, everybody. So this week's parsha is Acharei Kedoshim. It's a double portion. A lot of people choose to focus on Kedoshim, but I want to take a moment to focus on Acharei Mot. Acharei Mot in Hebrew, it means after the death. It's referring to a very jarring incident that happened a couple portions ago with the deaths of Nadav and Abihu. Right? They were Kohanim. They were the sons of Aaron. And if we know about that incident, they offered an alien fire, and they perished, right? And so it was a very stark reminder, I guess, of not following instructions. But it's certainly a very jarring incident. You think about how the people feel in this moment when they've seen the deaths of these Kohanim who are standing up as priests in front of them to lead them as a people, and their deaths would have been very traumatic, right? And it happened in front of the entire community. Everybody knows, and it was a severe loss to the community to lose these Kohanim, for Aaron to lose his sons. And so there's something that happens in this portion that is the after effects of the loss of Nadav and Abihu, and that is the institution of the Kohen Gadol only going into the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur and uttering the most holy name, and that particular type of service that only happens on the holiest of moments, the holiest of days, in the Holy of Holies. So you see here, as an effect of what happened with Nadav and Abihu, they are creating a fence really around the most sacred and the most holy. And I think it's important to note that, because holiness is something that we guard, right? It's not something that's to be experienced every moment, but it is something that's regarded as special. And that's not to say that we don't experience moments of holiness outside of that. I think we definitely do. And Shabbat is a great example of that. And there are many, many examples of that you can feel in everyday moments. But this is one instant where we're trying to really create a boundary that protects the most holy name of God, and calling upon God in that way and in that place and in that moment is something that is only done at a very, very limited time on Yom Kippur and by the Kohen Gadol. And so not everybody is engaging in that level. And so it really shows you that there's even a danger to attaining that level of holiness, that it's protected, and that, you know, the leaders would take on the responsibility of the whole kahal on Yom Kippur, right? And there was the special scapegoat that comes up in this portion as well. So that moment of the leaders standing in for the people, taking on the burden and the responsibility of those sin confessions, and bringing it before God, and also letting the scapegoat into the wilderness, that's something that's a boundary of protection for the people, because really attaining that level of holiness is not something that can be done without some level of potential danger. And so we have leaders who step in and take on that responsibility in that role. I think that still applies to us today. I think we have leaders who put themselves sometimes in danger in order to protect the rest of the community. We have first responders who do that. It's not the same thing, because it's obviously when we have fires or dangerous incidents with the police. But I think it is an example, right, of leaders stepping in because it's the right thing to do to protect the community. That is an example that we have today. But I think we still know that holiness is something to be guarded. And we do experience our smaller moments of that, but we create a bit of a boundary around that because it's not something that's meant to be felt at every moment. The duality of the two, just like how we know that those high moments of happiness in our lives, we know we experience down, sad moments as well. And it's the balance of the two that really helps us experience those highs, even though we have those lows. So I think that's something that we can take with us through the example of Acharei Mot.